Placing your bid on Paperstac, whether you should be looking at what's the UPB or actually what's the fair market value, next on the Paperstac podcast. All right, welcome back to the Paperstac podcast. Rick Allen, Brett Burky here for another episode, climbing to that magical 100.
Yeah, we got about 20 left to go.
Yeah, so we're getting there. Just like...
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, it's be fun.
You know, just have to come up with different ideas to talk about all the time, so it's fun.
So what's new, man? Tell me what's new in your life.
I got a smoker.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that?
Minister gave it to me.
He gave it to you? What kind of smoker?
It's a Champion Elite smoker, like the professional smokers with the racks and
the big one. Like
it's pretty big.
I know what kind that is, and he gave it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You get more free stuff than anybody I've ever met.
I know. It's actually really nice. And so I'm gonna probably do some cream cheese and some.
Cream cheese?
I'm joking.
No, I like smoking cream cheese, but dude, that's like a professional smoker.
I know.
It's got like three racks.
It's got 3 racks.
Here, pull up a picture and put a picture up of this thing. This right here.
Yeah.
3 racks. This big thing.
Uh-huh. And I'm gonna clean the grills. It's used, but it's not slightly used. It's a pellet smoker too, so it's a pellet smoker.
Oh my gosh! Wasn't your last smoker for free also?
Yeah, that was free too.
And your grill?
I bought my charcoal grill, but the grill before that was a nice gas grill.
Wasn't it brand new?
Yeah, it was brand new.
Oh my god! You get so much free stuff, and it's not even like you get like crap junk hand-me-downs.
No, that was a nice grill.
$1,000 smoker, or you get brand new gas grills. And didn't your daughter get a brand new bed in the box?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we got got all kinds of stuff. Got a piano,
drums.
Oh, drums. I got a whole drum set, and then I technically got a new desk.
Yeah, stolen, borrowed. It came from Paperstac. Whatever. You got a new desk. Good. Couches.
Couches.
Couch before the couch.
Couch before the couch.
Kitchen table.
Kitchen table is
patio table.
Patio table.
Chairs.
Chairs, yeah.
Hanging chairs.
Hanging chairs. I got that as well. I got a mini fridge somehow.
Mini fridge? You got that from us? From Cloud Capital?
They thought it was broken. Like, this doesn't work. I was like, I'll figure it out. I defrosted it. That's what. It works fine. That was years ago.
Jeez. I've been to your house too. You get all this free stuff, but you have like no clutter.
No.
You're like a zero clutter person.
No, yeah, it's very organized.
What do you do with all this stuff once you're done with it?
I give it to the church. I give it to the church. I had it last time.
So you're like the last stop before the church. Somebody's like, well, let's go donate this to AMVETS or the church. Like, we're going to give it to Burky.
I don't think
Let him do that.
I have a buddy who owns a moving company. I was like, look, man, if you ever see a piano that's just...
Yeah. So like TJ and I used to say we would put it out into the universe. If there's something we were like, let's just put it out in the universe and see what the universe gives us. Your universe is a guy that owns a moving company. And so you say, hey, if you come across some new...
Well, I know a lot of people don't like moving pianos and big stuff like that. And so it's like, hey, man, if you ever see something like a piano or, something nice, if you need some place to put it, they don't want it anymore if they're moving out of town.
I gave you a cooler one time.
That's right. I used it for inoculating wood logs to grow mushrooms, and I don't know where.
Proceed.
Oh, they were shiitakes, but but yeah, no, a lot of the stuff's free. I mean, I last one I gave it all away. I gave all the bedroom sets away to a Haitian church that someone's house burnt down. The kid had nothing, and they got a whole new bedroom set. Now we're gonna do it. I think it even came up. Someone's coming from Ukraine over to America, and we're gonna, get them a bedroom set. That one's probably gonna be brand new. And so my neighbor's hosting Ukrainian refugees, and
that's cool.
Yeah, and it's a good thing that my wife speaks Russian, so we can.
Ne pa-ruski.
Yeah.
So, what we got today? Talk to us. What's on the agenda for this podcast?
This podcast is based around basing your bids off different ideas of valuation. So I was talking with David Putz yesterday, and we were talking about, you know, how people like to bid on UPB, and that's usually one of the only metrics they, you know, like they run things off. But, you know, bidding off UPB means that you're always looking at the end result of having to take the house back. And other people bid off yields, and they might be a keep it forever type of person.
Okay.
And some might be doing whatever fair market value. But I'm just wondering, how many different ways are there to bid on an asset? Is it always based off your agenda or like your investment criteria? And just for the people that are new, I want to know, just as they do, when would you do it as UPB, and what does UPB stand for, fair market value? What does that really mean? And then why would you do it off the yield? And just all those different scenarios. And if there's more, I don't know. Those are the only three I know.
Yeah. So that's a good question. And man, this is one that could run this is almost like you do a series on this thing.
Oh, really?
Just because there's different ways to evaluate based off of UPB. Well, there's like a bunch of different things you need to consider when looking at UPB. Is it performing? Is it non-performing? Right. There's UPB, which is unpaid principal balance. Then there's total payoff balance. So if it's behind in payments, that's the accrued interest and stuff along those lines. And so right now, like I've seen this a lot, is people are requesting you to make the bid based on the total payoff.
I've seen that.
Like,
well, because that's usually they have arrears, right, or legal fees if you're buying.
There's legal fees in there, but there's past due payments owed to you. But really, the driving factor behind that is the just the exploding real estate market, and what like the past really like 36 months, maybe 48 months of growth. Certainly, the past 24 months have just been out of this world. But
I see what you're doing. So if it's, let's say, they know they can, because they know if you take it to foreclosure, the value of this house is...
Well, sure. If you take it to foreclosure, so let's, I guess, kind of rewind it and look at, what would you do if you were buying a loan and the UPB on the property was, $250 and the house is worth $150? Well, you're not bidding on the UPB. You're going to bid on the value of the house, right?
Right.
Because you're going to say, look, I need to count in my foreclosure costs. I need to count in holding costs, potentially repair costs. And when I get out of this thing, what can I sell it for? And hey, guess what? I'm an investor. I'd like to make some money. So I'm bidding some sort of percentage balance, and that percentage balance or the percent that you're going to get a discount on, or the bigger the discount will be depending upon really like what's the current market conditions, what's the supply look like. If there's tons of assets out there like there was in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, you're like, okay, I get it for 8 to 30 cents on the dollar.
Right.
Huge discounts.
Yeah.
Now you go back and you look at what has it been like the past 24 months. Well, there's no inventory. So people are now going and looking at it. Why is there no inventory? Well, real estate market's up. People are, we've kind of washed through all the bad stuff. There's more bad stuff coming, but the real estate's exploded. Back in 08, 9, 10, 11, 12, the real estate market had tanked. So you had a situation where there was all this defaulted debt that the balances on it were worth way more, or the balances were more than the actual value of the asset, the underlying collateral.
Interesting.
So you would always bid based on the value of the property. Well, now if you base on the value of the property, you may be in an instance where we have one, for instance, a perfect example. The principal balance on it's like $170. They owe like $240, but the house is worth $330.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right. So if you were to go off of the typical,
I'm bidding off the UPB.
I'm bidding off the UPB. Well, like I'm not selling it off the UPB because we're almost to the end on the foreclosure line. So I'm gonna bid my full max that I can bid.
At foreclosure?
At foreclosure. And so when you're doing a foreclosure, you can only bid the total amount of past due balance or whatever the default amount is that they enter, the judgment amount. So, it's probably gonna wind up being $240, maybe $245 if there's some more stuff that comes in there. Well, if I'm into it for, $140, I can stand and make a good bit of profit there, right? $100,000. But if for some reason somebody doesn't bid on it or they agree to sign it over to me right before the thing, well, it's worth 330. Like, maybe 300 if I didn't do anything to it.
Wow.
So
where's that?
It's in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
So, but I've got one in New York, same situation, right? Mm-hmm. So you're looking at those situations now, and people are like, well, I'm going to give you a bid of, I don't know, I'm going to give you 70 cents of the balance. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work. You're going to have to be, people are asking for par. If I'm like, I want par, you can keep all the back end. So.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So that's all I guess you're right. You could go way deep on the subject matter, huh? You could
go super deep. So, really you always, no matter what, whether you're going to bid off the UPB or you're going to bid off the value of the asset, you have to, there's a couple things that matter, but you have to know both of those, right?
Right.
You have to know, like, look, what is this house actually worth, A? And B, it takes into account, what's your strategy? Are you buying on yield? Like, if you're if you're somebody who's doing it with their self-directed retirement account and you're like, well, I'm going to bid, 85 cents on the dollar because that gets me a 12% yield. But that's just one way to do it. Now, I can show you a way that you're like, somebody would like, wow, she overpaid at 93 cents on the dollar, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it's not a deal until you see the lady go ahead and turn around and sell a partial, get her money back out of it, and now she's sitting pretty and she's collecting the last 7 years of payments or something along those lines, right? All of a sudden then it's like, oh, it's a good deal. So you have to know all these little different exit strategies on how you can get into something and make some money on it. Because there's that's the great thing about mortgage debt, right? There's not one way to skin this cat. Now you might be looking at it through as a velocity model and say, look, I just want to get this. I'm going to take a bunch of these down, and I'm not worried about making a huge yield here because I know, I'm not worried about making a 12 because I know I got somebody that'll buy this at an 8 yield. So I can bid it up knowing that I'm going to go ahead and just flip the note very quickly. Or you may look at an asset, we've talked about this one before, but you may pay par for an asset. I paid almost par for an asset, but nobody was paying par for an asset. But
why'd you do that?
Because it was a contract for deed. Mm-hmm. I went through the servicing notes and saw that the lady said that she would sign the house over.
That one.
Yeah, that she went dead, right? Mm-hmm. So I paid the fair market value for that house turned out to be like as is. It was 90, 95, somewhere in there, whatever. I think we listed it for 99 and it went for 90 or 95, right? The balance on it, the principal balance was 33. I paid 30 and the total payoff was like 40 or 42. So there was there was a good chance if that goes to foreclosure, well, I can only bid up to 42 or 43. So yeah, I'll make 20 or 30%, which is fine. There's a lot of risk there, but I knew that she was already willing to sign the house over. So at that point I was like, I'll pay more. And it sat there for 3 months and nobody placed a bid on it because they were asking so high.
That's crazy.
But see, you can't go into this, and some people will go into education, they won't get good education, right? They'll get just some crap education, and then they'll come out and they'll just blanket you with, well, I'm going to give you this. And one, it's annoying because it's just like, okay, well, as a seller, you look at it and you say, all right, well, what course did you just come off of? But looking at it is like, man, as somebody who we have a platform, as somebody who buys and sells data, like, man, those people they didn't get their money's worth on the education side, because you have to be able to look at it and understand that there's, bidding and assets and art. It's not just But
I mean, I would imagine that's like something that you
science.
Actually learn over time too. I mean,
yeah, of course you do. But that's why I always tell people, get out there, buy an asset, get in there, get in the fight, man. Because once you're in the fight, that's when you learn stuff.
Right.
You can learn and you can have all the book knowledge in the world. Mm-hmm. But until you get in something and start buying and selling and then have a reason to start communicating and talking with people.
Yeah.
Like when you go to a note conference, you start talking to people, and there's some smart people at these conferences.
Yeah.
Like I love walking in the room, and there's just so many smart people there to talk to. Mm-hmm. People who are managing, $100 million funds. One person who we know, they're trying to win the bid on a collapsing security by Wells Fargo. I mean, when do you even have a chance to do that and talk to people like that? You don't, but you get to talk to them and they have all these different strategies. You know, and I've got a lot of my own, but it's always good to like, here, this is what I'm thinking. What's your thoughts? And sometimes they'll say, oh, I never thought about doing it like that. Or they'll say, yeah, that's good, but try this.
Yeah, we just did that, didn't you? We were just on the phone with a person that was, what were they, putting assets, or they were going to put assets on the site. They had the same name as somebody else that signed up on the same day. And I called him. He's like, I was like, so what are your questions? He's like,
I didn't have any. You set this up.
I was like, well, what? Yeah, same guy, same name, same day.
Yeah, a lot of
But you gave him some strategies, and he was like, that's a good one. I'm keeping that.
Yeah, it's not on topic, but we'll give it to you because you're wondering, like, well, what was the strategy? that's the great teaser. And the next episode of the Paperstac podcast. Real quick, when you're originating a loan, you're doing some owner financing stuff right there. Maybe you sell it for a premium. So the house is worth $100. You're able to sell it for $130 because you're offering owner financing. Maybe the 30% markup's a lot. Maybe it's 120, 115. I don't know, whatever it is. You take that money down in cash, and now you're left with, okay, I'm at even. I'm going to originate a loan. Well, what you can do is you can originate an 80-20 loan or a 70-30 loan.
That's right. That's what it was.
Yes. So you may say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and originate a first and a second. I'm going to do one at 80, one at 20, or one at 70, one at 30. I'm going to sell off the first. I'm going to keep the second. So I asked the guy if he had ever done that, and he was like, no, I never thought about that, but that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that's it. So back, just to get back on topic, there's a lot of different ways you should be analyzing. It's not always just about, well, what's the principal balance? I'm bidding 70% on that if it's a non-performer, and I'm bidding 85 if it's a performer. There's so many more factors that go into it. Mm-hmm. Like, who am I talking to on the other end? Mm-hmm. Right? If I'm talking to a guy that's got 100 of these things and this is what he does for a living, you're probably not gonna get that guy to come off. He knows the market. If he's selling a lot of them, he knows where he is. He knows what stuff to sell him for. Mm-hmm. Now, on the other hand, if you did some marketing and you got somebody inbound phone calls and they're in a tight situation, they've owner financed something to their daughter, they need to get out, their daughter isn't paying, they don't want this in the family, it's gonna cause a rift, yada yada. Well, next thing you know, you might be able to get a better discount there. So there's tons of different ways to bid. If you are bidding, it's not always just, I need to be at 80 cents on the dollar of the balance. Like, you need to start right now. People, like, if you want to be competitive in your bids right now, you have to be looking at what's the value of the house, what's the total payoff, and how can I adjust my bid.
Interesting.
And now if you're bidding on straight yield, if you're doing this, look, I'm buying performers, then go ahead and make your bid and go.
Because you're going to be holding it long term anyway.
You're going to hold it long term. And then if you're doing the partial play, right, where you're like, well, I pay more because I'll get a partial on this thing. And then you're doing, that's the real long game, right?
Interesting.
So there's tons of different ways to skin the cat. But you have to know, and you have to be able to do that. You have to be able to look at all these loans, or look at the loans and say, how am I going to bid this one? What am I bidding this one off of? What's the deal? What's the exit strategy?
I like it. I like this a lot. So here's the thing. Like, this could go on, like you said, forever. We could talk about this for...
We could, and we could go into each one of those sections and start diving in and say, okay, well, I could bring on somebody, we could bring people on and say, look, how are you going to analyze this? Here's a loan, let's throw it out there, let's do a round table, let's get 3 or 4 investors on there and say, look, how are you guys analyzing this deal?
That'd be fun. That'd be really fun. Yeah, I like that. I like the fact we should probably do a couple episodes where it's just fair market value, or just randomize it when somebody pick a loan off Paperstac or something, and bring, hey, this one, analyze it. Yeah. And we'll just analyze it. By we, I mean Rick will analyze it on the spot, and then you can see how he bids stuff. But I think there's a lot of value in that. But I don't want to ruin it all for right now, because it would just go on way too long.
Yeah, like I said, we could talk about this for a long time, but you have to understand that there's different ways to do it. And I think just knowing
that there's different ways.
They say think outside the box, or just know that there is no box. Just let your mind run wild. when you give yourself permission to do that, and you can start thinking and being like, okay, well, what are the different ways I can bid this? And what are really my different exit strategies? And what is something that nobody else is looking at? Like, what is a different way I can do this? You know, we're definitely going to bring on Kevin Shortell shortly, because he's got some amazing updates for stuff that just came out, funds that are very much like the hardest hit fund that's given to all 50 states.
Oh, really?
He's been tracking this for a year. Matter of fact, we got to get him on the phone to be on the phone.
I had to give a call today.
Next week, maybe Monday or Tuesday. We have to have him on the podcast.
That sounds great. Yeah, let's do this. But for now, don't want us to run too long, so let's going to wrap it up. No?
Yes.
Someone's dropping something off at my house. I got to be there when they drop it off.
Yeah, he's got more free stuff. So, anyways, we're good.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you next time. Brick and Brett out. Paperstac podcast.
See ya.
Bye.